Hey guys, so today I am doing a reading vlog, and firstly I want to say that if you're participating in the rereadathon this week, I hope you're having a good time rereading lots of books. I'm sure that I will be. I just wanted to let you know that I'm pre-filming this, so I was filming this on the weekend that's just passed, so that's why I'm not like rereading books in this vlog. Based on the poll that I did on Twitter, I asked you guys which book you'd like to see in my reading vlog for today, and you guys picked Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This is the first John Green novel that I'm ever going to read, which feels like a historical moment. I have seen the movie of The Fault in Our Stars, but for some reason I didn't read the book first. I think I just wanted to watch the movie one day, so I did. And it was really good, so I have faith that John Green is a really good writer. A lot of people have really wonderful things to say about his books, and this book in particular as well I've heard really good things about. I've also heard some kind of meh things about it, like some people weren't that fussed on it. So yeah, hopefully I like it. To be honest, I have no idea at all what this book is about. The title is very mysterious. Turtles All the Way Down, I'm not quite sure what that means, but I'm curious to find out. So I thought maybe I'll start with reading the synopsis and tell you guys what I think. But I'm really excited about today because I have had kind of a really busy week with uni and stuff, so it's nice to have this day that I can just read. It's going to be awesome. I'm hoping that I'll get this book finished today, which would be really cool because then I can talk about it the whole time. And today's music, by the way, is going to be a song called Gone Forever by a band called Revolt. So that's my friend Ryan's band, so thank you again, Ryan, for letting me use another one of your songs in this video. I'm gonna link to Revolt and Ryan's channel and everything in the information bar below. I'm gonna go read the synopsis and then I'll tell you guys what I think. Okay, so that synopsis is kind of not what I expected. It sounds like it is about two girls who are friends, and there's some kind of mystery with a fugitive billionaire called Russell Pickett, and there's some kind of massive reward at stake if you like can solve the mystery or something. So they're trying to get close to this fugitive's son, I guess, to try and figure it out. So the main character is dealing with trying to be a good friend and be a good student and stuff, and also trying to be a good detective. So I wasn't expecting the whole like mystery detective fugitive element. I'm very surprised by that. So yeah, I don't know what this book is going to be like, but I'm kind of even more excited about it now. I'm very intrigued. So I've just finished the first chapter. So far so good. Our main character, I think she deals with some kind of mental illness. I'm gonna say it's maybe either or maybe a combination of anxiety or OCD, but more the obsessions maybe, or possibly she suffers from hypochondria, which is like where you think you have a lot of illnesses, something along those lines. So that's interesting, and she is feeling quite powerless in the world. She feels like because of this anxiety or whatever it is that she's dealing with, she feels like her life isn't really in her own control, and there's like only so much she can do to have a say in like what happens in her day-to-day life, because she's being controlled by this thing that feels to her kind of like external almost. So that's interesting. And she ate a honey and peanut butter sandwich, which makes me really want a honey sandwich. It's about lunchtime now, so I might make myself a sandwich before I keep reading, except that I think all of our bread is in the freezer. We put it in the freezer to keep it longer, so I might have to have toast instead. I don't really like defrosting bread except for in the toaster, but yeah, now I really feel like honey on toast. So yep, I think I'm gonna do that. I just finished chapter 2, and it was weird because I got like a kind of feeling of deja vu. Like I felt like I'd read part of that before, but I haven't, which is weird. I don't know why. Maybe it reminded me of another book or something. But I also just clicked that the main character, Aza, I don't know how you pronounce that, but her last name is Holmes. And I just kind of clicked that maybe it's because like they're investigating this whole fugitive thing, so maybe it's like a reference to Sherlock Holmes, which would be clever. It's interesting so far. I'm not super in love with it. Like, I don't feel hooked yet, but it's early days, so we'll see what happens. And I'm interested as well to see how much time this book spans over, because at the moment I feel like it's going really quickly, and maybe it's only going to be like a day or so. I'd be surprised at this point if it was like a longer expansive time, but we'll see. So I'm now about 50 pages through the book, and I have a couple of things to say. The first one is that I feel like I'm flying through this book. It's only about 250 pages long, so I feel like I'm getting through it really quickly. Like, I haven't been reading for that long, so I think I'm definitely going to finish it today easily. And the second thing was that I think this book should be renamed Tuataras All the Way Down, because yeah, if you've read it you know what I mean. But I'm going to insert a picture of a tuatara in case you guys don't know what a tuatara is, or even if you've read the book, if you didn't look up what tuataras look like, because they are native to New Zealand. It mentions that in the book, and we have them at most zoos and stuff like that have lizards will have a tuatara. So I've seen them like a couple of times in my life. They're really cute because they're endangered, and because they're native to New Zealand they're kind of a big deal. It's like the same thing with kiwis. Kiwi is our native endangered bird, and that's why we're known as kiwis. So tuatara is kind of another one of those. They're pretty special to us. So yeah, the tuatara actually used to feature on, I think it was 5-cent coins. I'm gonna check, but we don't have 5-cent coins anymore. They changed our money system. The money we used to have with like the giant 50-cent coins that were like that big or something. Our money's gotten a lot smaller. So you know, sometimes when you're reading a book and it weirdly references something that's really relevant to your life right now, like either something else that you're currently reading or something you just read or whatever. Weirdly enough, in Turtles All the Way Down there's a quote from Democritus, and I am literally writing an essay on Democritus right now, and I'd never heard of him until like the start of this week, and that's one of the things that I've been really busy with for uni. It's just the weirdest thing. And the quote is literally one that I just read this week. It is, "By convention hot, by convention cold, by convention colour, but in reality atoms and void." It's kind of talking about how the world is kind of as we perceive it, whereas really it's just all made up of stuff, and things like colour and beauty and things like that are things that we as humans kind of impress onto the world through our senses and our perceptions and like thoughts and feelings and things like that, whereas everything's really just stuff. So it's interesting, and I never thought that I would find Democritus in this book. He's everywhere for me this week. I kind of love when that happens though, because it makes me feel like I'm in the right place in my life right now or something. I feel like it's some kind of sign when things link together like that like I'm where I'm supposed to be. I don't know. Okay, so I continued reading, and there's also a quote from The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, which you guys know. If you saw my review, I finished that recently-ish as well. It's just so funny, like all of these things come up around the same time. It's really weird, but it's like, if you've read The Handmaid's Tale, it's the fake Latin quote, if you know what I mean. But yeah, interesting. I am really enjoying this book so far, more than I think I thought I would, and I like that it focuses, like there's kind of this mystery going on in the background, but most of the focus is on Asa, whatever, as a character, and kind of her internal struggle with her OCD or whatever it is that she is dealing with. This is getting weird now. I got to the part that says, you know that part of Yeats's The Second Coming where it's like blah blah blah, goes into that poem. So The Second Coming is a poem by Yeats, and I'm actually writing an essay on that poem for uni right now as well. And out of all of Yeats's poems, I chose that particular poem by Yeats, and that's the one mentioned in this book. How weird is that? That is the third recent as uni thing that has come up in this book, and I just think that's really, really strange. Weird. We're a few pages later now and they're still talking about that poem. They've kind of gone back to it and going into it in more detail. It's the weirdest thing, you guys. It's so weird. This is weird. So the bottom of page 219, if you have this book, hardcover edition, page 219, the bottom of it just destroyed me. So I finished the book, and as you can see, I've moved over to my usual filming setup because I feel like this book honestly deserves like a little bit of a mini review of sorts. I think I'm probably going to give this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and there were elements that I really liked. There's a lot of things that I really identified with, but overall, even though it took me a really short amount of time to read, like I feel like it's only taken me about 5 hours. It's nearly 5 o'clock now, and I started kind of just before 12, so it's been a really quick read for me, but it felt really slow in places. You know, at the beginning of this I said that I thought it might only take place over the period of like a day or something, but it ends up being quite a long period of time. That was kind of the one thing that knocked it back a little bit for me. I didn't enjoy all of it because it felt a bit slow at times, but I kind of get that as well because I feel like it's John Green trying to make it more like real life. Like there's all that boring stuff that happens in between the dramatic things that are going on. Overall, the most striking thing about it to me is the struggle that Aza is going through with her mental health. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a book. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Are You Okay or something like that. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna insert the cover so you guys can see it, but it kind of reminds me of that, I think, just because that character was dealing with a similar thing, and it's a really distressing thing to read about, someone dealing with something like OCD. It's never named as such in this book, but that's what it seemed like to me. If you know more about that, feel free to let me know in the comments down below, but that's what it seemed like to me. So yeah, it's a really tough thing to read about in a first person narrative. At times as well, the narration would switch to second person, which is really interesting, and that makes it even more hard to read and personal because it's written in like as if you are suffering this yourself, which is a show I think of really talented writing from John Green. I like that I became so kind of emotionally invested in Aza's mental health because it's not something that I can relate to personally. I've never dealt with anything like that, but reading Aza going through it felt really personal. This is so on the spot. What else should I tell you guys about it? It was super emotional at times. There was that one time on page 219, like I said, and then there was something else which I can't even remember now. There was something else though that struck me a few pages later that made me feel really sad. I'm sure I'll have other thoughts about it that I'll mention in my wrap up at the end of the month, but overall I really enjoyed this, and I think 4 stars would be the rating that I would give it. Definitely a tough read, but if you like tough contemporaries, this would be one for you, I think. I'm going to end the vlog here. I just want to show you my bookmark that I've been using today as well. It's #currently-reading. I love how bold it is, and this one is from Bookly Bliss Design. She's a New Zealander who's making bookish bookmarks and things like that. I think it's just bookmarks at this stage, but I'll link her Etsy shop down below. I've got this one, and I've also got an Illumine one, which is amazing. You should go look at it on her store because it's beautiful. That's it for this vlog, I guess. Thank you guys for watching, and if you want to keep up with what I'm reading regularly, you can friend me on Goodreads as well as following me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you guys with another video in a couple days. Bye.